Yes, yes, yes. Thanks, you guys, for joining us, and welcome to our first installment of the Get Unlocked virtual leg of the Unlocked Summit. We're excited to present you guys with this workshop tonight. With us, we have our facilitator for tonight. We have Kyla Nicole, who you guys will be meeting very soon, and we also have the co-creator of the Unlocked Summit, Shatoya. Say hi, Shatoya.
Hey.
So, very quickly, before we give it off to Kyla, we're just going to talk a little bit about the Unlock Summit and what will be happening in Atlanta in about 2 weeks. So, Shatoya, you want to talk a little bit about that?
So myself and Asia were both the co-creators of the Unlock Summit, which is a groundbreaking experience for women entrepreneurs. We host workshops on the platforms of business, being, and beauty, and it's basically to help current as well as aspiring entrepreneurs unlock their goals, dreams, and future. So we're coming to Atlanta June 3rd and 4th. We launched this summit in November in Chicago, and we had a tremendous turnout and response and feedback. So we decided to take it on a tour, and once a quarter we're hitting a different city to help women entrepreneurs expand and build their brands, and also be a part of the unique sisterhood where we are not only just supporting each other on social media, but supporting each other beyond that. So that's what the Unlock Summit is. We hosted in Chicago and it sold out. We moved to Detroit in February and we had another sold out experience. So we're super excited to head to Atlanta and unlock the city of Atlanta. We have 9 workshops that we will be facilitating. We have 2 panel discussions, so we'll have one at the Unlock Lounge, which will be Friday, June 3rd at Embar Lounge. That'll be from 6:30 to 9:30. We'll have vendors there. You're able to network and cocktails and just kind of mix and mingle with the registrants as well as the workshop facilitators. And then that following day, we have a jam-packed full day, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Summit. We have another panel of some dynamic and amazing women who will be discussing everything from entrepreneurship to sisterhood. We have the 9 workshops that I mentioned that are facilitated on the platforms of business, being, and beauty. We're honoring 2 women of Atlanta, Nicole Garner and LaDawn, who's a state representative of Georgia. So we will be honoring them and giving them the Unlock the City Award at the Unlock Summit, and that'll be held at Rome Buckhead. It's a co-working space in Buckhead, Atlanta. And I think that's all. Did I get everything, Asia?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. We're excited to see you guys. Make sure that you go to the unlocksummit.com to find out more and register. We're offering a lot of special things for you guys, and make sure that you stay tuned at the end of the workshop to where you'll get a special discount code, but you have to make sure that you stay until the end. So that's the incentive. But
Yep.
without further ado, we're going to introduce Miss Kyla Nicole. She'll tell you more about herself and then start her workshop, and we'll see you guys at the end. So it's all yours, Kyla.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing this evening? I hope super well. I hope you guys have had a fantastic day. And so we're going to start off. Y'all bear with me. I am not, technology is not my friend. I try to tell everyone there, but we are going to, I'm going to share my screen with you all so that you can see. Tonight we're going to be talking about living a life of purpose. With balance and support. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys all for listening, paying attention. So let me know if any time you cannot hear me, see me, or any of that. And we're going to do a little bit of an icebreaker just so that everybody is comfortable. Feel free to use the question and answer tab to your left. You should be able to see that if you hover over there. And so I would love to know who you are, what you do, what are your expectations from the session, and where you're from, if possible. If you guys can see all that there, I'm going to click off of this so that I can see your answers. So just take a second to do that really, really quickly, if you don't mind. Let's see what I can see here. All right. I'll make sure I don't see. Do I see you guys writing anything here? I'm not sure if you use the chat here. The group chat. That may do a little bit better. Let's see. I don't see anything being written, so we're going to move. Okay. You're going to be communicating with the question and answer button, but I don't see anybody saying anything. Oh, now I can see. Yay. Okay. Nice. Wisconsin. So funny, I'm from Illinois. And so I guess we'll move on into me telling you about myself and who I am. I am from Illinois, actually, which is hilarious. I landed in the South a long time ago. And I have been now in the southern area for, gosh, probably the last decade or so. And so my name is Kyla Nicole. I am the CEO and founder. This is true, Ms. Katrina, it is. I'm the CEO and founder of Kyla Nicole, LLC. I am an author, business strategist, and I'm a PhD in law and public policy, so that is uber fun, very exciting. And so Kyla Nicole focuses on defining your authenticity, discovering yourself, purposely living out loud. That is my passion for us women, especially as young entrepreneurs and women in general. That's just something that I really believe that we have to do just to be ourselves, to really be who we are designed to be, essentially. Now, let me see. I told y'all have to bear with me here to get this thing on the hook. And so we're going to move into, let's see. I don't like that my PowerPoint is not viewing or showing where you are, so you're going to have to work with it. You should have a worksheet as well with you that you can kind of guide you and follow along as well. Hopefully you can still see me. And so as I was saying, I ensure small businesses are developed and they're intact in various areas. I specialize in the legal area, of course. So ranges all over from contracts to plans to formations. And then 15 Ways to Improve Your Reality is the book, and it is available on my blog at kylanicole.org. You can also follow me on social media at Ask Kyla Nicole, so that's ASK. And those topics of that book just kind of deal with real life topics, topics that us women deal with in everyday life, like gossiping, lying, being bitter, time management. And so those are some of the areas that I talk about in the book, about defining what it is, how to overcome it, and essentially how to move forward so that you're not in that particular situation. Okay, I understand that stagnant feeling also well. I have definitely been where you are. All right, I'm going to see. I'm going to try this little. Thing. All right. Yay. So it should be working. As I move through these slides, I'm going to make sure that I try to share them with you guys. So again, bear with me as I move through them. I keep saying because I'm so unfamiliar with technology. Y'all don't laugh at me. So what we're going to essentially discuss, we're going to talk about some support and balance, what that looks like when it's done right, what it looks like, when it's done wrong, and see if we can get you all to a place of moving forward in your purpose and balancing with that support, and how to kind of gauge what you're doing and if you're doing it right. Um, Thank you. Someone just joined, so hi. Let's see here. So the session that we'll be talking about is really geared towards the working female entrepreneur of all ages. Every woman has dealt with the frustration in the support area, and then how to balance that. Being an entrepreneur, I don't know if some of you all are students or moms or have been moms, even friends, sisters. We all have a balancing act that we have to ensue daily. It's so vital and it's so important, and it's amazing that if you take one of those components and it's off track, how it will throw everything else off. So when I talk to a lot of women about balancing, is to figure out if you're balancing the right way. Someone said, I think I don't want to say her name wrong because that's another thing I'm terrible at, y'all, is names. But feeling stagnant in your business. A lot of times I believe that we feel stagnant is because we're a little out of balance. And that out of balance isn't just balance of schedule wise or timing wise. It could be developed plan wise, it could be strategy wise, stuck in trying to figure out what the next direction is, how to move forward in that area. That's really important as we're moving forward into the business world, and how you're actually going to be able to prosper in your journey of what you do. So when we talk about support, we talk about what that means to support. Of course, bearing all of your weight. I believe I defined that for you guys, and hopefully you can see it. Yes. Bearing all of that, what that weight is like. I try my best to tell people that I can only talk to you about what I've been through, how I made it, and how I had to overcome some of those areas as I was going through my journey, and discovering what that was like. I just want to make sure that no one has any questions so far. Feel free to ask any questions anytime, whatever it is that comes upon your mind or that you want to say. I'm definitely kind of keeping an eye out for those things as well. I want to make sure you guys can still see me. So, as I was saying, when we're talking about getting on track and living a life of purpose with balance, you essentially want to make sure that everything that you need is lined up for you. So when you start the formation of your company and your business, a lot of times we have these ideas, and they're amazing ideas, but sometimes we fail to take the necessary steps to actually plan them out. And that happens all the time. It's not something that isn't common. It's not something that most people don't do. It's something that everyone does, actually, because we're motivated individuals, especially as women. Women, we carry so much weight, and we wear so many different hats, and we have so many different titles that a lot of times we're trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. Oh, that is interesting. You gotta love how your devices are all connected to each other. That is amazing. I love it. And my mom always calls at the most amazing time, so forgive me there. And so you want to make sure that everything that you have is lined up and done correctly. So from the standpoint of feeling stagnant, which is something I try to, even when we're having these seminars and these sessions, is to really focus on what the audience needs from me. Because it makes no sense for me to give you an overview of what it's like to live your life of purpose and balance if that's not something that you're particularly struggling in. I think all of us can do a little bit better when it comes to the world of balancing, and when it comes to the world of support. if you're in your lane and you're doing what it is that you know to do the best way that you can do, I like to ask people, how can you support another business or another person doing what it is they're doing? So as we move forward, then I want you to think of that. Because a lot of times we get stuck on where we are, and we get stuck on the issues that we may have. And I think it's important for us to first discuss that there's so much power in aiding and assisting someone else, even in your struggle, even in your stagnant area. Sometimes it helps to branch out. It actually helps somebody else see where they are, see where they're going wrong or where they've gone right, because that can actually be a benefit to you as you move forward. I'm going to click right back on here just to make sure I'm not missing anybody or anything. So let me make sure. Can you guys see this PowerPoint here? Let me just double check. Perfect. So obviously when it's done right, you have less stress, more zen, you have better planning. You cannot think that you are balancing your life, you're balancing your business and supporting it without the genuine action. And I think that that's so important for us often, is to realize that they kind of go hand in hand. So we have to realize that just because we're busy doesn't actually mean that we're productive. And a lot of times we'll fill up our schedules with a lot of things to do and how to do, and understand that that's not the way that you were intended to operate. So everything that you do as an entrepreneur, especially as a woman, and where you're going, is to be productive. That's something that you want to ensure that you're being at all times, because your time is valuable and you don't want to waste that. So sometimes we'll think, I have a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, a 6 o'clock, a 5 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, and those things are counting up on your calendar. But if you're not actually making progress and moving forward in some of those areas of the things that you're doing, you have to step back and evaluate why. What am I doing wrong? What am I not doing right? How can I be enhanced in these areas? How can I make sure that my time is actually productive so that I can focus on being productive and walking out this thing that I call purpose that we have. So you understand that your mindset is key as you're going through and you're doing that, and you've got to be strategic with that time. And that's important. When you figure out those areas that you have that are causing you to be stagnant or causing issues that you may have, of course you want to now stop and focus on redefining, reshaping, and redirecting what you're doing. And that is vital to me, because I do believe that your mindset has a lot to do with the areas that you're successful in, and then areas that are maybe you have roadblocks in. One of the biggest things that I see people in general do is that we make a plan, if we make a plan, and then we start the plan if we start the plan, but then we're not really consistent in implementing or consistent in doing. And I believe that your breakthrough is going to come through your consistency. So earlier today I had a conversation. I am on Periscope generally on Mondays at 6 and Thursdays at 8. And I really, really, really woke up with it on my heart to discuss your small beginnings that you have, and how not to really despise those small beginnings, because those beginnings are essentially how you're going to move forward in the things that you're supposed to do. A lot of times we'll sit and we'll compare. We may look at another woman's success or another company's success and think that that's where we want our business to be. That's where we want our money to be. That's what we want our following to look like, not realizing that they have years of experience, years of right and wrongs, years of no's. They've had a multitude of different experiences that have gotten them to that place. But because society and reality has somewhat equipped us for the overnight success or the instant gratification, we tend to get a little discouraged easier. And we tend not to necessarily think that it doesn't take all of that, or it's not going to be as hard as it was for this one or that one. And we have to get to a point where we realize that our small beginnings are going to make our large impact over a long period of time. So I went on to say essentially that we I essentially went on to say that we as people have to continue to go through the idea of where's my small beginning and how am I going to essentially make this small beginning a large beginning. Create these small goals on top of these big goals. You know, I don't know how many of you do vision boards every year. It's a pretty popular thing, a pretty large thing to do. And I tend to do a very large vision board, and then I do a small board at the same time. And the small board essentially I use to keep me on track. I used to make these big vision boards with all these material things on there, things that I wanted to attain. And now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with setting your goals on some things that are material gained. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as it has its proper place. But I would make all of these things like I want this house and I want this car and I want this neighborhood and I want this, not realizing that that is what I was essentially focusing on, which was the object. And sometimes that defeats the purpose. Sometimes when we're dealing in our purpose, you know, I like to say that the area that you're extremely frustrated in is probably the area that is your purpose. The thing that frustrates you the most, that keeps you up at night, that keeps you thinking, that is the thing that is probably fueling you and driving you to do whatever it is that you're doing moving forward. And so I think it's essential that you define what that is. When you're talking about a vision, your vision can't solely be focused on the things that you wish to attain. I have learned for my personal self that keeping self last and actually focusing on self after I focused on others has really propelled me in the area of what I want to do, as in I want to see the next woman or the next person succeed just as much as I want to. So I'll put forth that effort to go and be a blessing to someone else, or to go and mentor someone or give them the advice that they need outside of the business world, so that I can see them run the race successfully just as much as I want to. And when I talk about support, that's essential for me. And I mentioned it earlier about saying if I'm in my lane and I'm doing what I need to do, then I'm not really worried about the next person, because I can't take something from someone else that doesn't belong to me. You know, I can't be concerned about you coming in and taking this audience or taking this, whatever that thing may be, because what's for you is for you and what's for them is for them. So there's never a competition. And if you can reshape your mindset and redirect it to those thoughts, you'll actually find that it's a little bit easier for you to go in, and there'll be a less of a comparison that you'll have in moving forward when you're dealing with other women and other people, because you'll understand that, hey, their lane is their lane. Sometimes what they have been called to do may be greater or higher on a multitude than what you may be called to do. And that's okay, because everybody has a role and everybody plays a particular part in it all together. So a part of us talking about this Unlock Summit is saying that, okay, we're unlocking our destinies into what we're moving forward into, our mindset, our passions, our desires. We're unlocking this thing that we call, okay, how am I going to go ahead and advance the world in my entrepreneurial role?
The air.
Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Everywhere.
Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Great. So, you know, how are you going to fix this thing in entrepreneur? When you say that you're starting off and you want to be an entrepreneur, okay, well, have you defined why? Have you defined why it is that you're doing what you're doing? Okay, once you define that, how are you going to shape that? How is that going to be molded, not only to be a blessing to you, but to be a blessing to somebody else? And how are you going to direct that? How are you going to strategize and implement that in your business and then outside? Because it's never, the goal is never to remain small, but to be able to leave a footprint somewhere and then become very consistent in that thing that you do. That's the only way that you're going to be able to see what it is that you're supposed to be doing, because it can change multiple times. When I talk about purpose, I like to say that your purpose is constantly changing. Now, not to mistake that with your passion. The thing that you're passionate about may be in the area of women empowerment. But in that women empowerment, the thing that you're purposed to do, in one season of your life, it could be teaching. In another, it could be mentoring. In another, it could be helping. In one season, it could be all of those things combined. So the purpose that you have for your particular passion is going to consistently change. And as an entrepreneur, as a woman, you're going to have to evolve with that. So you're going to have to do things that are out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to do things that you may not necessarily want to do, that may not be a great idea. You're going to have to do things that may be not the nicest or the prettiest thing that you thought. You're also going to find yourself in areas and situations and circumstances that you didn't think you were going to be in. And none of those things have to be bad. It's just to say that if you started a business in 1 year, you may thought you've been one place. To find out that you're somewhere totally different. And that's okay. So I'm going to go back to this other slide here so that I just want to give everybody a brief summary. I'm trying to be as quick as I can because I really want to get to the questions that you guys have to talk about that balance and that support that you may need, and then how to prepare yourself to the next area. Really take a note and key down of what support and balance is and apply those things to your life. When you're talking about support, a thing that bears the weight of something, that keeps it upright. So as women, as a sisterhood, that's what we do for one another. We are to lift each other's arms as we're moving forward in the things that we've desired to do. I say this all the time, that I think that we're more powerful in numbers, because my strengths are not your strengths and your weaknesses are not mine. So we're actually able to complement each other so much more than we are having to compare ourselves or to compete with another. I mean, when you look at balance, it says a condition in which the elements are equal in the correct proportions. So that means that, okay, if there's a circle of us, one of us can't be out of alignment. It is our job and our role as a sisterhood to be able to keep each other intact and in balance, where we're supposed to support and balance one another as we're moving forward in the things that we desire and then the other women desire as well. And so I'm going to leave this who I am slide up for just a second. And if you want to, we really can move into the questions and answers, because I can be long-winded just a little sometimes. And I want to give you all a chance to ask your questions that you may have specifically pertinent to you. If you have questions and you don't want to share them with everyone, you are more than welcome to send them to my email address, and that's inquiries@kylanicole.org, and I will address them one-on-one with you if it's something that you don't want to discuss in front of the room. But just be mindful that your thoughts, someone else may be thinking, someone else may need the same direction that you need, so be mindful in that, unless it's a really personal situation that I completely understand. And I'm going to move this right on over here. Okay, so, all right, and let me just catch up with some of the comments that we have here. Katrina, I definitely understand that a whole lot. Yes, so true. Kelly, that's a really good point as well. I like that. I think that you both make some fabulous comments, truthfully. I will tell you from the point of, like, I'm like thinking in my brain how to even form it. Katrina, you mentioned that stepping on one another. So when I moved down here to Atlanta, which I really haven't been here a whole long time, I've been here probably since the beginning of the year, January, and I really found that that was something that I struggled with. And I thought I was going to come down to this amazing place, which it is an amazing place, and I've met some amazing people, and I've been really fortunate and blessed to work with some awesome people and meet some awesome people. So it's not everyone, But the moral of that is finding your niche and your room. That's something that someone said to me, but I'll get right there to it. I thought that I was going to meet a lot of other entrepreneur women that were going to, take their arms, open them up, embrace me, hug me, tell me where to go, tell me what to do, tell me how to find out. And I found that I was very mistaken. And I was devastated. I mean, for weeks, I prayed, and I had to really vent to one of my close friends and said, I just thought it was going to be so much different. I thought it was going to be a different atmosphere. I thought that it just was going to move so much quicker than it did. And I realized that I had to really put boundaries and safeguards in for myself. I had to say, okay, I can't allow these other people's decisions or thoughts to change me. And I can't allow those situations to impact how I navigate through my purpose with my balance and my support system. So what am I supposed to do? So I realized that, okay, let me put these bumpers in place. Let me, take my rose-colored glasses off and put on my clear ones and actually figure out, okay, who's who and what's what. And I had to start discerning and understanding that I couldn't just jump on every bandwagon. There were going to be some things that I had to turn down. There were going to be some people that I had to let go of simply because they didn't fit the idea of the brand that I wanted. And that's okay. One of the biggest things that I prayed for when I came here was to be preserved, to be protected and preserved in the same sense. Protect me from what I'm not supposed to be jumping into, and preserve me from the things that come into my circle that I think may be a good thing. And wow, that's crazy. And so what I learned from that business side point, something that I do, because I'm a legal person, I learned to not make exceptions. If I'm operating with someone in any form or fashion, I had to say, okay, let's put it on paper. And that actually weeds a lot of people out, whether it's an agreement, whether it's a contract, whether it's, a confirmation email. People don't necessarily want to deal with a whole lot of paperwork. And the paperwork is going to protect you in every sense of the way, just like this, you're saying that, oh, someone's entering into a business and they're talking, you've got to be able to discern that. But then you also have to be able to say, okay, if we're going to do this, I need you to agree to this, this, and this. And that's why I deal with people a lot in my business world, where I develop their partnership agreements and I go over their non-solicitation clause and their non-compete clauses and their disclosure agreements, because that's important for you to have as a business, especially as a young entrepreneur. That's something that you need to be educated on and you need to be able to do. And you've got to be able to, a lot of times we get in our ideas and our moments and we want to jump on the next bandwagon and the idea and the train, and that's great, but you have to protect yourself. And so part of Kyla Nicole and strategizing in your business is creating these documents for you and explaining to you what they mean, so that when you move forward into the next phase of your business and into the next phase of your world, you're protected on all angles, because that's vital for you, especially if you haven't necessarily taken the steps to legally, trademark or copyright or something like that, and you're strictly working off of ideas. You've got to have the documented information to be able to protect yourself and your brand. And so that's something that is extremely important moving into the world of entrepreneurship. Kelly, you made a comment. I love this. Candle loses nothing from lighting another candle. That is so key. Y'all, I'm just now finding this tab with all of the comments, even though the ladies told me where it was. Another point I wanted to touch on that I think is vital is that you guys mentioned social media. I am so saddened sometimes by the amount of people that are deceived in social media or by social media, thinking that this is it. understanding that social media is someone's entertainment, and it literally is there to entertain. A lot of times people are aspiring to be these people based on social media, and I try to comprehend it sometimes to understand that. Do they know that that's probably not real? Do you know that some of the stories that are staged and some of the things that kind of go on with social media? But I think that comes into play as women, because we don't necessarily know our authentic selves, because we don't necessarily know what it's like to have that balance and that support. So we're constantly looking. We're constantly looking for that balance. And we think that balance may be money. We think that balance might be a man. We may think that balance might be the newest, hottest material thing. We think that the support may be some of those things too, because we haven't authentically defined ourselves to be able to know exactly what that looks like for us. Let me get down here. And so tell me what, I know, Kelly, you mentioned, am I saying your name right? Kelly, you mentioned earlier just being stagnant in your business and you're ready to go to the next level. You're here in Atlanta, so that is awesome sauce. Hopefully I'll see you around one day. But when you say being stagnant, do you mean that you just feel stuck in the level that you're in right now or the place that you're in right now? I mean, you don't know how to move forward, or do you mean stuck as in your desire for this thing is gone and it's not as lit as it was before? And I'm looking over here to make sure that I can see when you answer. And Katrina, I don't know if I got what you specifically wanted or were getting. Okay, Kayla. Move higher. Is that in a financial aspect? Move higher? Because you said you were doing photography, right? Oh, it's okay. I wish I could type with you. I am a whole lot faster at typing, y'all. Probably because I'm a chronic texter. And Katrina, you can shoot me on over whenever you're ready to. Okay. Okay, so way too comfortable in your current roles. You got to step out of your comfort zone for sure. A lot of times when we get comfortable, it's because we don't have anyone in our circle that's pushing us higher. So, that old saying that you can't be the smartest person in the room, you really can't be the smartest person in your circle. You have to go out and find those individuals and those people that you are desiring to be like. And not be like as in their same status, stature, anything of that nature, but the level that they're on that they desire to be, because I promise you that they're already looking at the next level for them and their, role as well. Understand that. Kelly, if you said that you want higher end clients and gigs, so are you in a place where you're prepared to start pitching your business to those higher end clients and those gigs? Because there's definitely a roadmap for you to do it. If you have built your portfolio and you've built it out with a certain level of photos or pictures, there are so many different angles that you can kind of pitch that. If you want higher end clients or higher end deals, you may have to go to those people in those areas and those clients, and you may have to lay it out and say, hey, I want to be able to do this, I want to do that. And so there's a fine line with that, because sometimes well, you don't have to necessarily front on social media to make people think that you're on a higher level. So social media, you can use social media for your advantage. If you're a photographer and you have photography work, you can get your Instagram page and make sure that it's of good quality, pictures that you're uploading. And basically for you, you're going to want to use your hashtags to bring awareness to your brand. You can use up to 30 at a time, and you can hashtag those areas that you kind of want to do high end. Say you want to do, I don't know, for example, say Fulton County or something like that. I'm still new, so I don't really know. Um, you can use those hashtags to, you know what I'm saying, get your work out there. So you can post a picture, and you can, you know, high-end celebrities. You can, you know, do wherever the hashtags are highest. If you type in the hashtags, it'll show you how much is being used, how many times it's being used, and that'll put you in those different areas with all these different people. And that's one way to get your brand out there and get your work noticed. Excuse me. As far as marketing goes, and outside of using the social media outlet, like say you say that you're more of an in-person person and you like to approach, find out where these people are that you want to go shoot. If you want to go shoot, I can't think of someone that lives here, but say you wanted to go shoot Monica, and Monica was at a concert, or she was somewhere at a picnic or a play or whatever. You have your portfolio ready, and you go out there and you hand it to her people. Give it to her. Let her look at your portfolio, because that may be the thing that you need to get it out there, you know? Um, yes, that's a good point too, as far as linking the social media up there. With all of the social media updates that they've done here recently with Hootsuite, Instagram, and Facebook, the scheduling is kind of hit or miss, because they want the live algorithms now to come through. So it's like if you can't schedule all of them, because they'll kind of spam your posting. So you're going to have to, you know, do maybe a schedule in the morning and then log on live in the afternoon, then log on, do a schedule midday, log on at nighttime. You kind of do, you know, every other, and that'll kind of keep you in rotation, and you're doing less work essentially with the social media, because it can be a handful when you're managing it yourself. So you definitely want to make sure that you have those mechanisms in place to help you, but that you're also engaging in it as well. Um, I have not personally used Buffer, so that may be something that I need to look into as well. I pretty much have my stuff some on the schedule, and then I've just begun to recently incorporate my social media just into my schedule. You know, I know that, you know, after I get up and I do my quiet time in the morning, yes, if I do my quiet time in the morning, and then, you know, my reading time, and then I make my list of things to do, then I'll just go ahead and do my social media. It just has become part of my routine, just so that it doesn't seem like a hassle, or doesn't seem as stressful if I do it that way. Kelly, did that make sense to you as far as how marketing, because you were saying that marketing isn't your strong point. And so two ways that you can do that without, you know, through the social media, of course, that one way, use your hashtags like you can't believe it anymore. Put filters on those photos that you're using. There is a app, Visco. I'm gonna look on my phone, but it's a really good filter situation for your photos, because you want those clean photos on your social media. Let's see if that helps with what you're doing. And having your online portfolio, You want to make sure that you can distribute and send, as much as you can. Make sure you're watermarking your photos. Make sure you're making sure that your brand and stuff is on your photos so that nobody can take that work and take the credit for it, of course. But that's something that you want to be able to do. You want to be able to put it out there and see, if that's something that will help you. But again, another aspect of that too is just go to these places where these high-end clients are and start off in the area that is easily marketed. Weddings, parties, those are the biggest two areas that you are going to gain so much exposure to, because there's so many people there, so much variety happening, that it really helps you show your skill set. So start there. If you're booking a high-end wedding and you start doing that, hey, it doesn't matter how you get in as long as you get in, right? Because that's the goal. And I'm going to get this app for you so that I can tell you what it is here. It's VSCO, so Victor, Sam, Cat, Oscar. And you can download this app on your phone. It's free, and whatever photos that you take and upload to your devices or whatnot, you can send it through that, and it'll kind of clean up a little bit, and it'll make it a little bit clearer on social media without you having to go through and edit all of your photography work and then put it online. You want to save yourself a little time if you can. And Katrina, you were saying, I wanted to address you saying that you had gotten comfortable in your current role to make sure that we fully discuss that, as far as you getting out of your comfort zone and going to find other people that are going to push you higher, that are going to propel you to the next level, taking on tasks that you wouldn't necessarily take on or things that you wouldn't necessarily do. Do those things so that it can, kind of push you a little bit to your comfort zone. Okay. All right. And to the both of you, something that I will say that is important as we talk about balancing and supporting, your mindset is so key. And I know that you guys probably may or may not have this issue, or you may not have these thoughts. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I believe that you'll have what you say and what you speak over your business and over yourself. So, as we're getting ready to close out second quarter and enter in third quarter, I think that it's really important for you guys, especially, to put together a new vision that you have. Start writing down your plan. And you may have, 3 big goals. And 30 seconds, I'll tell you about that. You write down your goals, your 3 big goals. In those 3 big goals, write down your 2 small goals for all of those 3 things, and really work towards those. Make sure they're attainable. Make sure that's something you can achieve. Don't let it be, so out there that if you don't make the progress, you're going to feel like you didn't do anything. You want to make sure that you're doing that, and then push yourself out of your comfort zone. Make those plans to be able to do so. Like Katrina, you're saying, you want to leave your firm in order to utilize your education. Start making a plan for that. I will never tell anybody to walk off their job immediate, because I do believe that you work to fund your dreams. Not everybody's in a position where they can leave their full-time position to go do their full-time entrepreneurship. Sometimes you have to do half and half, and that's okay. I think sometimes people get so caught up in what they see, and then you have so many people out here that are not conveying how it really works. So you may have to have your job to be able to fund the thing that you want to do, but start saving up for that thing. Start making the plan as to how you're going to execute that idea. If it's something that you want to do and you have a passion to do it, like when I wanted to come off of, I said, okay, I'm going to stay in corporate America for a year, and I'm going to save up a year's salary. And in that, I'm going to then off of that. So just make sure you have a plan that you are working towards. Yes. So I understand that. And so my time is going to be ending here shortly, ladies, but I am so excited for the both of you. Write down your plans, make your vision, start gearing up towards the thing that you want to do, realize where you're balancing act and when you're not. And you can follow me on social media, and that is Ask Kyla Nicole. So that's ASK Kyla, Kyla Nicole, Nicole, one word. My blog site is kylanicole.org. I'm on all of, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram. Everything is Ask Kyla Nicole. KylaNicole.org is the blog. And I would like to, chat more with you guys offline if you want to. I'm always available. And absolutely. I have definitely enjoyed my time. I thank you guys so much for listening and being here. It's been such a pleasure. And if you have any questions or concerns, you know how to find me. Thank you so much to the Unlocked crew. You guys, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm so grateful to be here, and I hope to be a part and participate in many more.
Yay, thank you so much, Kyla. That was awesome. Definitely a lot of gems that were dropped. We really appreciate it. We hope that you ladies got everything that you needed from the workshop tonight, and make sure that you focus because there's some great things being shared. So just closing out, we have everybody from the Unlocked executive team here. We have Shatoya, we have Ishote. So we're just going to say our goodbyes and also share that code with you. So 1 second as I pull it up. Oh, well, it's not coming up, but the code that you can use is Get Unlocked. Use that on Eventbrite for $50 off of your registration. That's a big, big chunk out of the registration fee. So we're really making sure that we make this as affordable as we can for you guys. So definitely take hold of that deal. So Shatoya, do you have anything to say before we leave out?
Yeah, I added another code for Eventbrite. So if you guys aren't in Atlanta and you aren't able to fly in to attend the Unlock Summit, we do have people that are traveling from all over, so you don't necessarily have to be in Atlanta. So we're encouraging you to fly out. If you need help with booking any travel arrangements, you can feel free to reach out to us. But if you're unable to make it, no worries. We will be live streaming. It's currently $75. I'm giving you a promo code, which is live stream, and you can get $25 off. So it's $50 to watch. We're giving you all of the summit materials, and we're going to mail you the swag bag. So it's just like you're going to be there sitting in the room with us. You're going to get all the material, chance to still be able to interact with everyone that's at the summit. So the code is live stream. And that's for the live stream segment. And if you are able to attend, the code is Get Unlocked.
Yes, so use those codes, and we'll be seeing you guys again tomorrow night. So tune in, same time, same place. We'll see you later. Everybody say bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.